Hello, fantasy managers, and welcome back to the FPL Addicts podcast with me, FPL Rev. Thanks for joining us for our Game Week 1 team reveals. Bring it on.
Hello, fancy managers. It's that time again. We are back for the new season. It is the FPL Addicts podcast. My name is Gilles. I am joined in the studio with the FPL Rev. Nice intro, Rev. What's going on, mate? How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good, mate. Feeling a little bit more nervous, actually, than I was yesterday. I think as that deadline approaches ever closer this afternoon, every single one of us has got our ears to the ground for some potential leaked City news that could throw everything up in the air all again. So, yeah, I've got a draft. I'm not sure I'll be having at the deadline, but we'll see what that time brings.
No, listen, mate, good to have you on the pod with us. Obviously, we did do a stream on Wednesday with a bit of a preview. We looked at all the assets that have come in during the transfer window, summer transfer window. Still lots of transfers happening. Do believe Harry Kane has landed in Germany for talks, so that is something to be discussed. Unless he's on his way back and signed and sealed already, we'll have to find out as we go along in the pod. But yeah, listen, thanks everyone for joining us. FPL Addicts is back for the Premier League season, the Fantasy Premier League season and the Premier League season 23-24. If you do want to join our league, you can do so with the league code jkozym. You can join that right now. You can also join our women's competition as well. If you are one of our female managers out there, you can definitely join that, and you can jump into our link tree in the comments below, whether you listen on YouTube or you're listening on your favorite podcast, wherever you get your podcast. But we have got lots to get into. We are going to do our team reveals today. This is pretty exciting for us. You're not lagging, Rev. I'll let you know that. No, you're not. You're all good. Actually, yes, you are. I've just realised. Yes, you are. Maybe you can go in of the studio and come back out if you want and see if that works. But yes, we are going to do our team reveals today. We are going to go through some maybe latest transfer news. If you are joining us in the comments, please do jump in, say hello, and let us know how you're looking for your teams. This is the deadline stream. Morning, Alan Finnegan from the Finnegans podcast. Rev, one of your favourites on there.
Yeah, hopefully I get to beat him this year. Get to let him eat that humble pie. So, yeah, it's a big rivalry, big local rivalry.
Yeah, good. Well, hopefully Alan is in our competition on Public League as well, and we'll see him in there, or maybe towards the bottom near you. Stephen Small has joined us. Good day, Stephen. Hope you're all good. Good to have you back in. Hopefully the Rev says an FPL prayer for us all. Yes, we will need it as we head into this deadline stream. We are not far from kicking off in the Premier League. Lots of, still last-minute decisions. There's going to be panic. There's going to be some players with a surge in the ownership as we get closer to that deadline. But we will bring up the fixtures right now as we probably preview what is going to go on, and then we'll go into our team reveals as well. Please don't forget, if you are watching the stream live or you do catch this later on, please do give the video a like. This will definitely help us get some more viewers. Subscribe will be brilliant, and then you don't miss a beat. And don't forget to jump in the comments as well. Alan, the code is going along the bottom of the screen. If you have seen on the ticker, is jkozym, and you can join the league directly into the Public League. So hopefully we'll see you in there. First kickers off, though, Saturday the 12th of August, obviously Australia time. For me, Rev is in England, so we are doing this internationally. It's like the British Chamber of Commerce in Australia, this. We're crossing over the border. The big border.
More prestigious, though.
More prestigious, of course. But Burnley at home versus Man City. Burnley, of course, back in the Premier League under Vincent Kompany. They've got a mammoth task. Of course, the Premier League put them against City in the first game. It's going to be a 5 a.m. kickoff here. So, obviously, a late night one in the UK, Friday night football to kick off the Premier League. Rev, predictions, let's talk a couple of assets, of course, in there too.
Yeah, so I am thinking that in terms of stats-wise, already I'm looking at Julian Alvarez from that. Obviously, someone who's played a lot of preseason minutes for Man City. And if I just get those up here, we can see that Julian Alvarez has the most preseason minutes out of any Man City player with 270 minutes. He's also got a goal and 2 assists. The next most used player is Bernardo Silva as well, but I don't like him as an FPL option. And then followed closely by John Stones as well, is right up there. So for me, Haaland, he speaks for himself, doesn't he? He's the Nordic meat shield. If you don't have him in your team, go and get him in. But I'm definitely looking at Alvarez to go in the team. Alvarez is someone who last season primarily played a lot of his minutes against newly promoted opposition as well. That's something to note. So I feel like Pep might like him in those games where he might need to open up those low block teams. So that's something that we could see there with Alvarez looking to pick apart that Burnley defence. And then as far as John Stones goes, he's the City defender with the most preseason minutes. He played 90 minutes in the Community Shield, and let's be honest, he was unlucky not to go and get a goal as well, if it wasn't for a great save by Ramsdale. So Alvarez and John Stones are 2 Man City assets who are, definitely in my thoughts, as we'll see later.
Yeah, very good, mate. And it's a couple of assets that we discussed on the Wednesday stream. If you haven't checked that out, you can check it on our YouTube channel too. So you can just go into the playlist afterwards and do that. Another guy who only got a few minutes on the pitch in his football career against some of the easier teams is Christopher Reed. He has joined us now on the podcast. Reedy, how are you, mate?
Not too bad, thanks. Thanks, bud. In good spirits with the deadline coming. Pretty confident with what team I'm going to pick, and it's good to be back on the pod after doing Wednesday with you boys as well. So buzzing for it.
Oh, buzzing to have you in, mate. Obviously, just touching on the Burnley and Man City game. We were just talking about maybe Vincent Kompany marking Haaland. What do you reckon?
What we talking about? A two-footed, sort of technical area challenge on Haaland.
Could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fooled by any means by this. First game of the season, the home team always does well, causes an upset sort of thing. I think City is City, and we'll soon see the quality they've kind of got, as we know from last season anyway. So I know there's a couple of new players in there, like Kovacic, Mahrez has left. So they are going to be a slightly different City side, but still got Haaland, which the guy can just go off at any minute. So yeah, I think they'll beat them quite comfortably.
Yeah,
I think another thing to note from the Man City game is that you can keep your ear out for some early team news. One of the things about that game that I'm going to be particularly looking out for is, imagine if Ortega starts. Imagine what happens to all of our drafts if Ortega actually starts. I know Reedy kind of preempted this last year.
Last season got in early
by bringing in Ortega at one point. But so that could be a thing. We could have a 4 million starter Man City goalkeeper, which would be bonkers. I don't think so, though. But again, there's something to look out for. Another thing to look out for is that Ruben Diaz hasn't travelled with the squad, apparently, according to Twitter.
Right.
He's on a concussion precaution, which could make me be tempted slightly by Gvardiol. He could just be launched straight in there. For me, I mean, he was expensive enough not to use him, right? So, it's one of those. So there are another 2 players to keep your eye out should we get some tasty team news.
Yeah, and Colm's just jumped in comments. Thanks for joining us again, Colm. He just mentioned he's rumoured to be injured. Makes Stones less of an asset in there, he says. Obviously, thanks for everyone for joining us on the live stream tonight. We've got a couple of questions coming in, but we'll probably get some as we get through the fixtures, and we'll hit some of them up. FPL MFZ, and then also hello to Miriam, and obviously Colin, we've said hello to you, you legend. I've just posted the link tree in the comments as well for those who are looking. You can get into our link tree and you can join the league. But yeah, so fixture prediction, get a result. Go on, Burnley, Man City. How are Burnley going to start? What's going to be the final result? Go on, lads.
Poorly. They're against the treble winning side who did the impossible last season. I just see it being an absolute walkover, to be honest. It's going to be like, welcome to the Premier League. Get smashed. Like, I don't think it'll be close.
What are you saying then? Give us a score, Mikey.
4-0.
Go on, put a digit on it. 4-0.
Yeah.
4-0. 4-0. I'm gonna say 3-1. I'm gonna say 3-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Because you don't have any Man City defenders.
Not that. I mean, I've flirted with the idea of having Stones, but obviously until the team leaks the news, I just think I'd rather go for a more nailed player that could potentially keep a clean sheet and get attacking returns. And we saw that whoever it was played centre mid with Rodrigo, I think, in the Community Shield. Kovacic played there. Yeah, Guardiola can play there. So I'm not convinced on that one. Yeah. But 3-1. I think Burnley might nick something, but City.
Yeah, it's good points, mate.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-0 City. I think City always tend to start a bit slower first part of the season, so I'm not going to go for anything drastic. But it's in that Community Shield. I know it's a friendly, but still a trophy in it. I'm sure Everton would have celebrated if they'd won the Charity Shield.
Mate, I'd like us to just win a game.
That's true. That is very true. Good point. But yeah, I think they'll start a bit slow. So 2-0, I think is quite for me. But elsewhere, let's get to the next one then. So Burnley and Man City kick us off. Arsenal and Forest up next. Forest, of course, came up to the Premier League last season, signed a ridiculous amount of players, and managed to stay up. They've done an incredible job, and they've got some reinforcements. Again, they've just signed an Arsenal goalkeeper as their number one, so heading into the start of the season, Turner. But lads, Arsenal, I'm sure, no doubt you'll have some assets in there from the Arsenal team, and then anyone from Forest. What are you thinking? Any ones that we should be looking at? Reedy, Rev.
It's just one of those where I've changed my Arsenal, my second Arsenal midfielder about 4 times since our last stream. Changed them from Ødegaard to Martinelli, from Martinelli to Trossard, from Trossard back to Ødegaard, from Ødegaard back to Martinelli. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure who to go for, and it's just hard. I don't know what to do. Genuinely,
I think you kind of like. I can see that you're. What's the word? You're in Tinkertown. You're fully in Tinkertown, and I think that what you're doing is you're kind of overthinking it a bit too much. It's quite easy to do that and kind of get a bit fidgety with it. But for me, I'm just going to go for what I've gone for from the beginning. I am not going to lie, looking at template and EO, all that sort of business from the beginning. So yeah, I mean Trossard, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but is he going to start ahead of Havertz or Nketiah even? The problem is we just don't know how long he's going to get. If it's 30 minutes, great. Does he score within that 30 minutes? I don't know. And yeah, for the structure of the team, not reeling your whole team off. But if you have him in, fantastic, because it allows you to put the money elsewhere. But I just think this early in the season, do we need to be trying to chase something that's not there from the outset? Yeah. That's all my view is on it.
Yeah, that's probably good reasoning as to why I feel like I've ended up on Ødegaard at the minute. Because I just know he's going to be on the pitch.
It's a good pick. Great pick. Not good, can't lie.
Interesting, lads. Quick score prediction for that one.
I'll go first and I'll say 2-0 Arsenal. 2-0.
I'll go for a cheeky 3-0. I think. Cheeky 3-0.
Lunchtime kickoff, isn't it? Bit of pasta. Might be a bit heavy on the, 2-0. Seems about right. But go on, Jack.
Maybe not enough breakfast to get him through. Yeah, so it's a 9:30 p.m. kickoff for us. So we've got the Women's World Cup, couple of back-to-back games, got the Lionesses into Premier League, which is great. So a full lineup of football. I'm going to go Arsenal 2-0 as well. I'm going to go 2-0 once again. And then that leads us into the midnight kickoffs here in Australia. Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton, Luton, Everton, Fulham, Sheffield, Crystal Palace. Not hugely attractive fixtures, if I'm honest, in terms of quality of teams, but West Ham obviously spending big. Looks like Paqueta's maybe on his way out as well over to City, which pretty random to be fair until the last recent kind of couple of days that I've seen. But Brighton obviously against Luton, some assets in there. We mentioned them on Wednesday, and then later on in the early hours of the morning here, Newcastle versus Aston Villa should be a tasty game. Two teams that performed really well last season, some great assets to look at between both teams. So I guess I've not heard much of people looking at Isaac and Wilson. There wasn't any mention of that on Wednesday in the pod. Aston Villa, we mentioned Watkins, of course, and maybe Diaby. Anyone else pops into your teams or been in your thoughts, lads, that maybe the listeners or viewers can consider?
I mean, he's not been in my team, but he frightens me. Callum Wilson scores goals, mate. Callum Wilson scores goals, and so it's just be one of them. We'll all be looking at him in that first game when he gets like the inevitable 2 goals and an assist or something. We all just go, "Oh yeah, it's Callum Wilson." And he's not necessarily someone that's massively put off by difficult fixtures either. So I just think he just frightens me. But can I fit him in my team? Probably not.
Yeah, it's difficult at that price point, isn't it? Because he's 8 million, same as Watkins. You look at Villa's fixtures aren't amazing from the beginning, but they have got some on paper, easiest fixtures. Everton, and is it Sheffield United or Wolves or someone like that?
All right, mate.
So
don't go on about how we're an easy fixture, like, you know.
well, sorry, mate. Sorry, easier. Sorry,
sorry, not sorry.
Oh. On paper, I'm saying, Rev, we all know what Dice can pull off, defensively, like, at home as well. But yeah, so it just feels like Newcastle have got a tough run at the beginning.
They do.
Play City, they play us. He'll probably score against us. But another thing with Wilson is, Newcastle is he going to start or is he going to start Isaac? We don't know, because last year it was easier to navigate because Newcastle had the double fixtures. So even if you picked Isaac or Wilson, or even some people who went for both, it was kind of like, well, all right, well, we expect the return. As we know, last year the pick turned out to be Wilson over Isaac. But I feel like this year, because they've signed Harvey Barnes, it means that Isak's minutes on the left might be limited. So so you could
see that rotation through Europe more so, I guess now. Yeah,
exactly that. UCL.
When they signed Anthony Gordon,
But I was actually going to touch on him next. Like, is he? Where does he stand now in this team? Is he just a 60th minute on as a sub kind of player now?
Probably.
Or do you think he's going to start? Have you seen much of pre-season of him?
So I can get up my minutes.
Yeah, maybe while you're looking at that one, what I might do, the Brighton Luton game. So FPL MFSZ has joined us on the stream. He's asked. He's looking at a few options, but he's definitely mentioned about wanting a Brighton attacker. Reedy, obviously we've seen the damage what Brighton can do on the pitch. If there's any option from you of who to look at from Brighton, who's your preferred?
I think everyone's going to have, everyone, according to the website, Estupiñán's the most selected defender in FPL. He's the one that, from a Brighton perspective, people are going for, whether it's clean sheet against Luton and an attacking return. Matoma is another one, great last season, 6.5, easy to slot in. The problem is, he hasn't scored for a long time. He kind of burnt out at the end of last season. So it's a tough one. I mean, I'd go with 2. I know Mikey's pulling face. I can see him that he's dying to say something. He's pulling faces. He's going 3 Brightons too much.
There's a sun in his eyes. Look at his tan.
Yeah. But two Brighton minimum for me. I think you have to go with 2 Brighton from the beginning. I think is a sensible option. Going with 3 does feel a bit too much. And the whole João Pedro hype, I'm not buying into it at the minute, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like the João Pedro hype, totally agree with you. I feel like I was convinced at one point And then the more I'm like listening to Brighton fans on Twitter, I was like, well, let's just go and ask the question, like, is he nailed? And none of them seem to think he's like 100% nailed at all. Like, and I guess that's what you pay for when you pay for a 5.5 miller. You know, Solly Marsh, Matoma, again, two players who kind of drifted off towards the end of last season. But the biggest thing for me that's kind of changed my mind a little bit is the fact that they've lost since last season. They've lost McAllister to Liverpool, and now also Caicedo to Liverpool as well.
Well,
He's
not.
Well, he said he don't want to go now. Apparently, huh? Is that right?
He wants to go to Chelsea. Yeah.
Does he?
It's all gone off this morning.
Either way,
Yeah.
he's still, they've still lost a key defensive midfielder. And how often do we see teams like Chelsea, lose a Kante, for example, through injury or whatever? How often do we see a team like Man United lose any defensive midfielders, like Jack has obviously seen, and then just completely fall off? I'm an Everton fan. I know what it's like to not play with any defensive midfielders. It makes our attacking options rubbish because we can't control the ball. Like, and I'm looking at Estupiñán as well now, going, actually, like, are they gonna keep many clean sheets because they can't control midfield at all? And also the game week fixtures turn after game week 3 anyway, and it just makes me go, I'm not sure I want to be anywhere near Brighton at the moment.
Blimey, down there is a big statement. Don't want to go anywhere near him, maybe, but there's obviously a couple of people with a couple of opinions out there. I've got 2 assets in my team from Brighton, but maybe to be reconsidered before deadline strikes. Of course, that is ever fast approaching. Just a big hello to Quentin Dunn, who has joined us on the stream this evening. Q from FPL Amateurs of Oz. Hope you're well, son. It's been a while since we last chatted, but I hope everything's going good. Make sure you go and check out his podcast as well, FPL Amateurs of Oz, when you get a chance. But obviously, he's going to be coming out with some stats for us. Saliba, he's all over. I love that one. And we can get on to Arsenal again shortly. Elsewhere, fixtures. Let's just have a quick look. Let's start Chelsea, Liverpool. Let's get on to that one. We'll mention Man United, Wolves, and then we'll jump into team previews. If you are new around here, please do give us a like on the stream. Give us a subscribe if you're feeling generous. Would be brilliant. And make sure you keep jumping in the comments. Let us know how you're getting on with your teams. But over to you, Reedy, first. Liverpool, Chelsea. Let's talk about your Liverpool team really quick. Assets which need to be seriously considered for your teams, FPL teams.
Oh, I think the standout picks, Salah and Trent. I think we mentioned that, at some point. They're the guys, aren't they, who get your FPL points. The tricky thing is, people are saying you can't have Salah and Haaland in your teams. You can if you go with João Pedro, as we said just then. When you go with a lower price midfielder, you can get him in. It can be done. But they're the main 2, I would say, for now. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to say it. I'm looking at starting with Gakpo. I do think that Diaz is the pick. I really do think that Diaz is the pick outside of Salah and Trent. But we've got so many options in that midfield, and it just feels like not going with 2 United, not going with 2 Arsenal is just a little bit silly from the outset. So, yeah, if anyone's brave enough, or if anyone wants to go with differential and think, right, I'm going to save myself a transfer in game week 2 for that Bournemouth fixture, get Diaz in from the beginning, because he could do something against Chelsea. But I kind of like Gakpo at the same time. They're the main 2 for me, I would say.
Yeah, and to you, Rev.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where Reedy's kind of just hit the nail on the head. Is that minutes is such an issue, but also we're just not sure what Liverpool we're going to get. And what I would say from that is that I do see some people benching Chilwell. But if Trent is at right back, I would kind of look to, no offence to Liverpool, I would look to exploit that and play the flying left wing back from Chelsea. We've seen on his heat map, and it's been discussed before, is that he's a lot further forward than Reece James in attack and in possession. So maybe, Chelsea could be looking to exploit that defensively weaker left-hand side of their attack, and Liverpool's weak right side defence. So could be something to watch out for.
Yeah, and as mentioned on Wednesday, Trent, with that cash for your FPL teams, you can always downgrade. Probably the biggest tip from myself of my nonsense tips. But for Chelsea, any suggestions from Chelsea? I mean, there's a couple of mentions of Jackson Martinez in going into the team for strikers. Any thoughts on there?
Yeah, I think Chelsea's attack is quite weak without Nkunku, and so they could be struggling there. Something that is a recent development over the past few days is like the rumor is that Kepa is off to either Bayern or Real, which could mean
Courtois getting the ACL.
Yeah.
Suffering with his he can't kick with his left foot apparently.
Yeah, so he could be off to one of those two, which means we've got a 4.5 keeper in Sanchez.
Yeah, wow, great shout.
And
Straightness number one.
They did spend like 25 mil on him.
He wouldn't have been cheap.
You can sign a backup keeper for anything, can't you? Like someone who could just come and sit on your bench.
Like you got Turner from Arsenal for 10.
Well, yeah, like exactly. Like so, unless they knew about Kepa's head being turned and wanting to go to Real or Bayern, I don't think you go and spend 25 mil on a player that is going to sit on your bench.
Well, I'm guessing Tuchel will know the status of Neuer for a while now, and he's probably going, listen, let me just go and raid, the English division, the Premier League. Obviously, Kane's coming over. Now he's probably looking at a goalkeeper that he's actually works with already as well. So makes a bit of sense in a way, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a quick mention about Spurs, Harry Kane and Bayern Munich. Obviously, the last kind of status I saw not long ago was he was on his way over to Germany, finalised talks. Any further updates from there? Is it signed and sealed? Do we know?
Well, apparently he was on the plane to Germany.
Yeah.
Last we heard.
Yeah, that's it.
Kind of makes
serious progress, right?
Yeah.
So on that note then, obviously we mentioned it on Wednesday, the Richarlison move to come in at 7 mil. Obviously he's a bargain at that amount. We know what he did at Everton, and especially you do, Rev. Is he should well, listen, it's a wait and see for me, but I don't want to miss out on it either. But Richarlison, 7 mil, midfielder, playing up top, probably guaranteed, he's going to be guaranteed to play every game and start every game. Should he be in? Is he a shoe-in?
The only question I have about him isn't necessarily to do with minutes, because he's played the same amount of pre-season minutes as James Maddison. He also scored a hattie at one point, and Spurs' new manager did praise him publicly and saying he's really looking forward to working with Richarlison. The only thing that is kind of putting me off him, even though he's currently in my draft, is something that you'll like, Jack, is Mana Solomon. Currently has the third,
my man Solomon.
Yeah, the third most pre-season minutes out of everyone from Spain. Out of everyone from Spurs. Yeah, so that's
yeah. Well, here we go. Here's another one for you.
Question mark.
Richarlison rumoured to be injured, so there you go. So Solomon could be even more so.
Rubbish, though.
Come on, Colm, stop giving us rubbish, mate. Give us facts.
Well, because it was on Instagram, and Richarlison just commented underneath a rumour that he was injured, saying fake.
Oh, right, okay, right. So he put that to bed. Yeah, surely he's ready. Surely he can't be injured again. He needs a run, doesn't he? He needs a run of games.
Yeah.
To actually show us what he can do. And yeah, listen, and if he does hit at 7 mil, and if he does start flying, he's got a huge, obviously, ceiling there to earn us plenty of cash for FPL.
If you're like me, and you don't like any of the 6.5 mil mids, for 0.5 more, you could potentially have Spurs as number 9 just sitting there.
Just quietly.
And
yeah, fair enough.
Also saying their 1 p.m. press conference.
The presser at 1, perfect. Man United, last of all, obviously Wolves just appointed Gary O'Neill after Lopetegui walked. Obviously he's gone in there to put some fires out. Wolves in absolute disarray, I believe. I think they'll be automatically straight down to relegate them now. I don't think there's going to be any. Don't think it's going to be a good season for them at all, with a big sell-off of all their Portuguese national team. United obviously looking. I feel. Listen, I went and got my ears lowered before. Went and got an haircut. Barber's a Man United fan, chatting about Man United. And we were just saying how much more settled and confident the team probably looks and feels. There's no major issues going. Ten Hag has sorted a lot of the rubbish out in the background and the team harmony. We've got holding midfielder in. We've got a brand new keeper in who's looks, obviously, from what he's shown, apart from the lob, looks very good and can play in the system. And yeah, we've got a competition for places. New striker in, obviously, still question marks about his fitness. But yeah, really excited about it. I think a lot of assets need to step up and continue to score. Like Rashford needs to continue what he did last year, and we need to see the bounce back of Bruno. What do you boys think, Rev?
Yeah, so for me, just as far as Martin Rashford is concerned, in there. Despite the hype around him last season, I don't think we're hyped enough for Marcus Rashford. In 56 games, all competitions, he scored 30 goals last season, which is shockingly good. And so I think he's probably around like a 10.5 mil player in disguise. He's against the rudderless Wolves at home for game week 1, so he's straight in my team.
Run riot.
Yeah, I do think he will. The only thing I do see people umming and ahhing about is Bruno, but I'll bring up some stats to hopefully convince some people around to get on the old Bruno train. I'm on that train. He's on free kicks. He's on penalties. You could say that an issue with him was that even though everything seems to go through him, the question is whether those attacking moments will translate into FPL points. So I went to look at some data, and I've got 2 words for you. Wout Weghorst, mate. That is a player who is not being supplied anymore. So the data seems to indicate that Bruno was the unluckiest player in the league last season when it comes to expected assists.
Hey, hence his reactions.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, he tallied in total last season a mere 8 assists, which for him is a terrible season.
Yeah, poor compared, yeah.
So in the Premier League, he registered a total of 17.27 expected assists. And because he only got 8, that gives him a 9.27 expected assist underperformance. Now, I think that the days of Weghorst are behind him, and he's feeding the likes of Mount and maybe Højlund further on in the season when he is no longer injured. I think he easily makes up that deficit. And also the quality's improved, and the quality's improved behind him as well. So had he made those 9 assists, instead of getting 176 points, which he actually managed last season, he would have gotten 203. Now, that's just to add the assists onto his total points. That's not even mentioning the extra bonus points that he would have gotten for being more involved in goal contributions. So we could be looking at a 220 points a season player when you add the extra bonus points on, if he matches.
Sounds good, mate.
Data. So I think he's an absolute no-brainer for the team. I think the double up is on.
Bit of food for thought here. You know why I'm itching now.
Mate,
no, I'm itching.
I did say I was going to try and convince you around.
Yeah.
Bruno is a 220-point player in disguise because he was playing behind Wout Weghorst.
Yeah, and we'll. I also mentioned on Wednesday my team, Garnacho, all aboard. Colm is on it. I'm on it. I think. Listen, whether he starts or comes on a sub, I think there's impact, and I think he makes a difference. So excited to see what he does. So have a look at him. 5 million. I think a bargain there. We are going to get into the team reveals. Reedy, are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Oh yeah, because I can't see your team.
Ready to go. I'll share that bad boy with you, Jack. Don't you worry, my son. And
perfect. So the time has come. We are now getting to team reveals. Reedy's going to go first, then the Rev, then me.
I don't think Matt.
Oh,
go on.
I said Chaza as. You said go on. I said go on. You team me up. Go on, and you started speaking.
No, go on.
Chaza,
man, and we haven't seen his team yet.
Right, Chaza. Chaz has sent us a pre-record for Captain's Corner, but he forgot to do his team and send us. So I'll probably read out his team that he sent us. But read it. Let's get into it. Team reveal, first one of the season. Let's go, buddy.
There we go. That's the team. I mean, look at it. I know you just thinking template left, right, and centre, which it is. The only one really is Gakpo.
Start to finish, mate. Read them out. Rinse them off.
Pickford. Then I've got back three of Gabriel, Stupinan, and Luke Shaw. You've got Saka, Martinelli, Matoma, Bruno Fernandes, and Rashford. And then, obviously up top, it's Haaland with Gakpo alongside him. Chilwell on the bench. And Turner is in there. Matt Turner.
Hey,
so, Matt. So that's pretty much it. I mean, how boring is that, boys?
I'm like, that's not a Reedy team. I look at that and I'm like, it just doesn't look like a Reedy team.
Do you know what, though? Funnily enough, I like it, and I'm just a little bit disappointed that Haaland's not in the same colours.
Yeah, you like it because it's not your team, because it looks good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, listen, boys, this is a new me. I mean, I looked at my rank the other day, rank history, and I saw my highest ever finish was 67k. I mean, that just says it all that, I've not really taken FPL seriously since 07, 08.
Good from you, that, mate.
Yeah, well, and then this season, you're going to see the real, I'm going to apply the minds, I'm going to be optimal, and that's it. So this is the team ready. And I don't think it's going to really change. I really don't expect it to change with anything. Maybe one because of the City lineup. Guardiola and Ake apparently are going to be playing. Maybe
Ake still not got a flag on him, though. I thought you had a flag on him still.
According to Pep, they're ready. So you might see that I end up switching someone out in that respect. Maybe Gabriel might go out.
Is Ake 5? Is he 5 mil, Ake?
Yeah, he's 5.
Yeah, so you think for sure maybe it might be still good when you save 0.5 there, don't you? Is that
possibly, but I feel like Gabriel will be the one to go out first, only because even though he's nailed, and you'd say probably say an easy 6 points. 6 points is actually worth a lot in FPL. But I'm feeling like he'd be the guy to go, and maybe I get someone a bit more attacking in there. So that's it at the moment. I mean, I really didn't want to go with Fernandes at the beginning of the season, but his ownership's so high. He has got that unlocked potential there that you said, Mikey, and he's obviously proved it in seasons before as well. With Casemiro there, and now he's had a season under his belt, albeit he actually settled in really well last year, apart from his odd red card and crazy moments. You hope that Fernandes can get the license to go forward, and Rashford playing as the striker does put me off slightly, just because I think he's better out on the left. But if you want the combination, Bruno and Rashford isn't a bad one, to be honest, as your attacking players. So, yeah, as I say, Gakpo and Gabriel, the two Gs are the ones where they could change last minute. I'm going nowhere near Julian Alvarez, I'm afraid, Mikey. But yeah, it could well change before deadline on those two players. But the rest, Pickford, Stupinan, Shaw, the midfield and Haaland, they're all locked.
Some tasty picks, mate. And like you said, you've gone very template. You've just gone auto select from the template, and that has appeared on your screen. So well done, mate.
Thanks for your auto pick team.
Yeah.
No, you know what? It's a little bit spicy though, because it's got Pickford, which I've not seen in many drafts, and as an Everton fan, I'll be praying for you, mate, when you just get disappointed every week.
I'm expecting it, don't worry, I'm expecting it. But, if he gets the bonus and stuff like that, happy days. I know he will make saves, that's for sure. And if it was 0-0 at Goodison, we could end up picking up the 3 bonus. So, we'll see.
Colm knows you. Listen, Colm knows you too well, Reedy. New game week 12 minus 12.
Give me 2. Yeah, no chance this year, Colm. Like, I'm minimising any hits this year, and that's the point.
Honestly, I've heard this for 2 years now. You are absolutely
right.
You're the most inconsistent person ever at this.
The proof is in the pudding, boys. Look at the team. You think this is going to change? I'm telling you, it's not, and you will see. By me having this team,
fiddling with your team. You can't resist.
He gets those itchy fingers, doesn't he?
Yeah, you love taking a hit and you love making moves.
You will not see it.
This is your excitement for the week when you're making transfers and making changes.
I'm calm, boys. I'm calm. This is different me, new me.
Don't lose your dinosaur, Reedy. This isn't you.
This is me, 100%. I'm going to wipe the floor with you. You remember last year when Mikey was giving it the big one, going, "Oh, I'm going to finish top. I'm the stat guy, blah, blah, blah." And he ended up bottom of the pile. I'll say it now. You watch. This will be me, and I'll be top at the end of the season. Clip this now. I mean, we all say we might come back and bite us, but I genuinely believe I'll be able to win it this season. So yeah, bringing it to the table, boys. I can't wait to see your drafts. Show me what you got.
Pick, I'll give you that. And
Gakpo's a spicy one.
Either, so
it's just difficult because Jota's 8 mil. He's a midfielder, so that's one thing. Diaz 7.5. I think he's nailed. But then I'm like, well, am I going to pick Diaz over those 5 that have got? Well, more than likely not. And the good thing is the price points, I know you'll be fully aware of this, Mikey, is that if they're 8 mil and above. We got Bruno and we got Saka over 8.5. Rashford's even 9, actually. It's easier to then drop down than it is to try and find the money to go up, isn't it? So, I've got options. It's not. So this is nothing in the bank. Wow. The thing with it is, though, right, the Jackson or potential Jackson money for Game Week 3 is already there in Gakpo. It's already there because Jackson's 7. So I'll gain 0.5 from that as it is. Do you know what I mean? I'll get that back. So whether you start with it or whether you don't, you've just got to think of the potential price changes and who's likely to drop and not. And that's what I've considered, rather than having to go next week, which Liverpool player do I get in? I'm already putting that player in, so I don't have to make that move. I've already got Chilwell for Game Week 3, so I don't have to make that move.
Far too sensible for you, this.
There we go, boys.
You've had some pre-season, you, mate.
That's it. I've enjoyed the break far too much.
Like a retreat.
Yeah. But yeah. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. Nice, mate. Nice.
Cody Gakpo, if anyone else was wondering about is he a rotation risk, he has the most preseason minutes out of anyone. He's got the same preseason minutes as Mo Salah and Alisson. So, he's looking about as nailed as you can get there, even with Darwin Núñez looking to come on at like 75 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, no, very good. Nice one, Reedy. Guys, if anyone has just joined us for the first time, welcome to the FPL Addicts podcast. We are on our second stream of the week. We are on deadline stream. We're on team reveal. Reedy has just revealed his, and then Rev is coming up next. But do not forget to give this podcast a like, give it a thumbs up. That would be wonderful. Give us a subscribe and keep jumping in the comments. Let us know what your pain points are, what your last minute dramas are, where you're going and how it's looking. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. Just a quick one, Reedy, for you. Nixu just jumped in. Thanks for joining us, mate. Is it still safe to go to Mbeumo even when the flag is on? Do you think he's nailed regardless now? Is he all right, do you think?
Well, I wouldn't go there personally. I know the appeal is with his penalties, and Frank seems to say after that game where he got a bit of a knock that it'd be okay to feature. But I just don't think it's worth necessarily going for the risk. Go with Matoma, much safer pick. Brighton start off with a good fixture. You look at Ange apparently saying that he's going to go all out attacking wise, and Spurs have got Brentford. So I just wouldn't chance it, to be honest with you. I think you never know. We might get reduced minutes because his knock's a bit worse than it actually seems.
Yeah, thanks, mate. And Rev Cuz has just joined. He doesn't know if it's been discussed, but Jota and 0.5 in the bank, or Mbeumo and 2 million to move off picks like Pedro.
I mean, I'm not sure how much I like Diego Jota as an option. I feel like he's a lot wider, playing out a lot wider than he has been. He's also competing for minutes with Luis Diaz as well. So, also, Mbeumo has been pictured in training as of yesterday. So, that's looking likely that he will still start, whether he'll play the whole 90. Or as it's going to be these days, 115 with the new regulation changes. That remains to be seen. But I think I definitely like the Mbeumo and 2 mil.
Mbeumo and that probably answers for you, Christian, probably away from Jota, and maybe look at someone else in there for you, mate. Okay, Rev, your turn. You are up. Let's bring your team reveal. Let's go.
There we go.
Start to finish.
So, Johnson and Turner. I did a little bit of a deep dive as to
he's taken for the goalkeepers.
is a really good option and possibly an improvement on Guaita last season, and could help Crystal Palace get a few more clean sheets. Rotates nicely with Turner. And then again, it's nice to see someone else having Luke Shaw. I feel like there's a little bit of groupthink going on at the moment in particularly on FPL Twitter, where we're seeing players like Luke Shaw, who've got incredible fixtures, are nailed in a team that will keep a lot of clean sheets, going under the radar. I guess that's because of Onana, that he's not in the team. But I don't like having Chilwell in my team and just putting him on the bench. It just feels wrong. So I might look to get in Chelsea players from game week 3 or 4 onwards. That could just be a much better solution, and start with like a really solid pick like Shaw. John Stones again, really solid option in terms of expected minutes at the moment. Is looking like he will start the season, but I'll keep my eye out for pre-season minutes. Gabriel, again, a little bit of a deep dive yesterday on him as to why I feel like he's the optimal defender to go for over the likes of Saliba, because he's in one of the teams that play with the best attacking set pieces stats, and also he's playing against some of the teams with the worst defending set pieces stats, and he's a threat at set pieces. Bruno and Rashford, we've already gone in for. Saka, he speaks for himself. Ødegaard, again, is just a more solid option minutes-wise, and he'll probably be on the pitch a lot longer. Richarlison, Harry Kane is on the plane to Germany. I think if I don't do it and he bangs, I'll regret it. But
ultimate FOMO kicking in there.
Yeah, it is. It's FOMO, but at the same time, I've still got 1 mil in the bank with this draft, so I could change Richarlison to Maddison or someone else who looks pretty solid. Haaland speaks for himself, and then Julian Alvarez has the most minutes out of anyone from Manchester City in pre-season. He got most of his minutes last season against newly promoted sides, in which he also registered a lot of attacking returns as well, because he's good at unlocking those low blocks. So I think to start the season with Alvarez and Stones is risky, but maybe not for the first game, I don't think. And then I could always move Stones to Gvardiol, and I could always move Alvarez to, a 7.5, just like you were saying, Reedy, before with Gakpo. A similar thing, because I've got that 1 mil in the bank. On the bench there, we've got a couple of those players who seem to be getting some good minutes at Sheffield United, but 4.5, 4.0. And then Kabore. Did we mention Kabore yesterday?
Is he a new player? Like, didn't we get much mention on Wednesday, did he?
No.
Only like every single minute and every person had him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the draft. I'm just trying to, again, a little bit like Reedy, to try and start solid-ish, but with Stones and Alvarez, and also Richarlison.
Yeah, I can see you've put a lot of work into the colours there, Rev. I'd
mate,
just like to say,
so aesthetic. Can I just
I'd just
say,
like to say one
gorgeous
thing though on this, right? You've got it wrong. You need the Arsenal guys on the left. Well, wait there. Yeah, on the left. And you need the United guys on the right, man. Come on.
Why?
Sort it out. Because you need you need Rashford left, then Bruno inside of him. You need Saka right, Ødegaard inside of him. That's what you need, man. Luke Shaw on the left, right.
To reflect real life.
Real life, man.
Do you know
if you're
what
going to do
fantasy
it,
means,
real
mate?
life.
Do you know
Media
what
loves
fantasy
putting
means?
left backs where they belong.
Real
Centre backs
life.
where they belong.
That's it. You can't be having Shaw right back on the picture, man. But listen, that joking aside, good team. I like it. Richarlison, obviously, he's in there. He's 7. He's 0.5 cheaper than Maddison. Kane now leaving though. He's gonna get the minutes. It is huge, but I'm not 100% convinced. I know Richarlison was decent preseason, and he's what's the word? Whatever the word it is. Basically, he's playing as a forward, but he's a midfielder. Out of position. Yeah. So Alvarez, not 100% convinced on that one. They're the only 2 picks, but other than that, mate, I can't fault it. Can't fault it. Very similar team to mine anyway. Apart from Ødegaard.
I noticed though is no Brighton. No one's mentioned that.
No Brighton. Yeah,
no
Brighton.
Brighton. Yeah.
No Brighton.
For Mikey, it's no Brighton, no brainer, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm just not
obviously,
convinced. I'm not convinced that they'll be the same. They kind of fell off at the end of last season, and then was like really, and they've lost 2 of their main players this summer, and I don't think they've really replaced them. Like, what they signed, like James Milner and Mahmoud Dahoud from Borussia Dortmund.
Dahoud.
Yeah.
Rev,
Like, do you remember him on FIFA 10 years ago?
Yeah, right. Rev, I've got a question. Like with Richarlison, he scored. Is he going to score more than 13 goals this season in the Premier League, do you think?
Depends who is on penalties, and the rumour is that Richarlison could be taking them. So,
but I suppose the question is, like, if he bangs in 13, which is he did back-to-back seasons 2018-19, 19-20 for Everton. So is that and that's for a midfielder at 7 mil? Are we happy with that? I suppose is a big question, right?
Yeah, and also new manager bounce as well, like, and who's already publicly backed him. He is a confidence player. To be fair, he needs someone backing him, and the manager's already like got his arm around him. So
yeah. I mean, maybe he's been told by Ange, listen, before you take your top off and celebrate, make sure the goal definitely stands, please.
With your little pigeon dance. The 153 points and 165 point seasons, them two, by the way. So for a midfielder at 7 mil to be delivering that, not bad at all. Only 3.4% ownership Richarlison at the time of recording. So yeah, pretty tasty pick, Rev, and you've backed him in there. No Brighton, you've got the Arsenal triple up, you've got United triple up, and City triple up as well.
1 mil in the back. Imagine like 3 years ago.
Is that a threat? Is it a big threat? Is it a big threat having 3 triple ups?
I don't think so. I think they're well. Imagine if 3 seasons ago you could say, when we were all putting Ben Rama into our team or whatever, because we were just struggling for options because everyone was so pricey. If you said to me 3 seasons ago you could start in 2 years' time with triple City, triple Arsenal, triple United, Spurs as number 9 in midfield, and a great rotating keeper with 1 mil in the bank, I'd have bitten your arm off. So I'm just gonna.
Well, when you put it like that, mate.
Yeah.
Just not the Sam Johnston in goal is the one, I think.
Well, he could move up to anyone. I could put Alisson in there if I wanted to.
Sanchez.
I could go to Sanchez.
You're doing it right now, aren't you? Sanchez is happening right now, aren't you?
No, well, I mean, if we get the news, like, Kepa's definitely going. Sanchez is going straight in all of our teams, I imagine.
That's the thing. When I was looking, you were saying, Mikey, about you've got 3 in. Well, Jack was mentioning actually. You've got 3 here, 3 there, 3 there. I was looking at my team the other day when I had João Pedro in, and I was literally just doing the similar thing. I was kind of going, right, I've got 3 United, 3 Arsenal, 3 Brighton, 1 City, and 1 Everton, and I was like, I'm literally backing pretty much 3 teams there. You know what I mean? By having 3 players from each team, and I almost felt a bit too much, and I was kind of like, it looks so bad. It looks so bad, but it's so good as such, and everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it.
We're picking bad options from every team, though. These 3 teams will finish in whatever order, and you can say you can throw Liverpool in there. I think that Liverpool might finish 4th, to be honest. But you can say that between them, Man United, Arsenal, and City will finish 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And it's not like they're bad options from those teams either. They're like kind of like the key players in those teams as well. So they're like the best players from the best teams in the league with the best fixtures in the league, with 1 mil in the bank, and Spurs is number 9. So
nice.
You make some great points there, Rev. Yeah.
But, come next week when I've got my head in my hands, I haven't scored -6 points.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah. And Adam couldn't say it any better there. Palace will going down along with Rev. I didn't say with the Rev bit.
just a quick question before we move on to Jack's draft, right? And I have to shoot off because I unfortunately can't stay for the whole pod this week. But are you going to keep an eye out for the City League team leagues? And if Alvarez isn't starting, is he going out, Mikey? Yeah. For who? Have you got a contingency? Have you got a plan B?
João Pedro.
It's João Pedro.
Yeah.
He's going Brighton.
Yo!
He's going Brighton.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. It's just
Yeah,
they're on
forget the whole pod.
I'd rather keep more money in the bank to be able to react than to go up to then have to find money from elsewhere and not be able to react to other people.
So what you're saying is you wouldn't want to go, okay, Alvarez, I'll use the extra 1 mil and I'll go to a Gakpo straight away or a Jackson or a, whatever. Yeah, you'd rather just actually bank the money, go down to João Pedro. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Just because of his ownership.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I like it. Guys, once again, thank you for joining us. Give us a thumbs up on the stream if you are. We've got a good deadline stream viewership tonight. So please do give us a bit of love in there. Drop us a sub. That'd be brilliant. And we'll get to some of your questions. I'm just going to reveal my winning team for the season. Here we go. Only joking.
This should be interesting.
4-3-3 I've seen, by the way.
Oh my God. What's going on?
4-4-3. I have made a couple of tweaks since Wednesday, actually.
4-4-3.
I've just seen what
4-4-3, Jack.
4-4.
He's invented a new formation.
That's it. 4-4-3.
Chelsea chairman. He's the Chelsea chairman, though.
But I've got some coaching badges as well. What have I been doing? That's how I won all my games. 4-3-3.
Oh God!
No,
right. Let him give him some time quickly. Go on, let him do it. Let us say.
Great team, that actually, Jack. Defo go with that.
Yeah.
Listen, whatever you say, I'm doing the opposite anyway. Reedy hasn't got an opinion because he's gone template. So Onana, goalkeeper. In defence, Trent, 8 million. Defender, money, cash. Gabriel has come in. I'm trying him out instead of Botman. Moved him out because I was thinking about this. I had a bit of FOMO about Arsenal. Estupiñán next to him, and I put Zinchenko in. Listen, Zinchenko was flying when he came to Arsenal last season. He had a bit of a drop-off through injury, obviously towards the back end and came back in. But I'm backing Zinchenko. Don't get my head. Anyway, read it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Season minutes does Zinchenko have?
Don't need any. Can play. Anyway, midfield. Trossard has come in. Trossard has come in instead of Grealish. So this map, I've gone to a triple up in Arsenal now. But now with Harry Kane news, because I've not touched it since then, the Richarlison one is in my head as well. Salah in midfield. You boys haven't got Salah. And obviously I've gone Rashford as well. Up top, Haaland, João Pedro and Alvarez at the moment. On the bench, Turner has come in for Areola. Garnacho is sitting on there. And I've got Chukwuemeka and Bell on the bench. Still not totally set. I've not kept it. I'm not locked in. Still thinking where I'm going to go, but this is where I'm at so far. So 2 changes from my team that I've kind of mentioned about on our WhatsApp group. I mentioned a couple of players on the week on Wednesday. But Zinchenko, Gabriel. Say why, Rev? Go on. I know you're dying to jump in.
Kind of part of me just wants to let you suffer, to be honest, because you were an absolute git last season. And I
let him, Rev. Let him make
beds and
let him.
And then
you
got him 2.
Let's focus.
There are certain players that you don't have.
Yeah, let's focus on the positives, Mikey. Right, we'll keep away from what we think he should do, and let's focus on the positives that think he wants us. We'll help him with one at least. I think we should, and that is Zinchenko. Make it easy for yourself and just go for Timber. Just get Timber. If that's you want an defender, just get Timber.
I'm just not too sure. Like, I don't know what the status with Timber. I know he's played, but Zinchenko's he can't be out. He can't assign, and he can't be out.
He's not. Apparently, I don't know if he's 100%. But I know he should have a flag, but
he didn't play in the Community Shield.
No.
Timber came
okay.
But also, like, Saliba exists. You could go there.
Well, yeah, this is my thing. But then I was like, oh, Zinchenko. But then what I might do, because obviously I'm sitting on this Trossard one, bringing him in, because I'm not too sure if he's going to be starting. Thinking about Richarlison. I was also thinking about downgrading again, but then going obviously in defence down to Botman anyway, and having Newcastle asset and spreading the load. So definitely do agree. Not disagreeing about Zinchenko. Gabriel's come in.
I think you're shooting your load, not spreading it here, Jack.
Walk straight into that one.
Go on.
And then, obviously, up top, similar to Michael Alvarez. Do like him. I think Mikey's obviously looked at my team there and just put him straight in as well. And backed up some stats.
It was that way round, yeah.
Come on, mate. Post in the WhatsApp group 2 weeks ago.
Shovel to the forehead there. Go on.
There we go. And then João Pedro, my Brighton forward. He's done all right, obviously, in pre-season. Got himself a couple of goals, João Pedro. So pretty comfortable with him. And Trossard, just a question mark over him. I think I'm happy with everyone else.
One thing I will say, and another thing I will point out, is that you've locked yourself out of a third United guy. So you've not got...
we've gone Garnacho on the bench because I was looking at Shaw. Because if I downgrade Gabriel back to Botman, put Zinchenko to Shaw was my other one. But I've got to get rid of Garnacho. But I'm just liking Garnacho, and whether I bring him in or not, I play him and have the sub.
You know what makes me feel so much better?
Bruno,
no, he hasn't. But you know what makes me feel so much better, Mikey? I know you're giving me the template stick, but me and you are so much more ready than Jack.
It's our
for
year,
for this deadline.
This draft, it's our year, isn't it, really?
He's literally logged. He's logged in today, made this team, and went right. I'm ready.
he called your team an auto pick team, but
this is even more. This is literally
an actual auto pick team.
We will see, lads. Listen, I know you're trying to give it to me now because obviously I'm the reigning champion of the podcast league, and you boys absolutely crying last year, panicked after wildcard in game week 2.
I wonder when that was going to get a mention.
I know.
We made it a whole hour, to be fair. We made it a whole hour.
You did do well.
Imagine Darwin just scores a hat-trick in this first game against Chelsea.
Oh.
Me and Mikey straight away, game week 2's coming. We're like that on edge. Going, don't wildcard, don't do it.
Yeah. The Tinkerman,
well,
the
if
Hitman.
he scores a hat-trick, then I could just go Alvarez to Darwin.
Yeah, but you don't do it, man. I know you're not going to, Mikey.
I know. But
I'm gonna
if he
stop
scores a hat-trick, I think he goes into everyone's team, right?
Oh.
But yeah, listen, with Adam there, Garnacho's going to explode. Listen, I'm liking it. He's going to explode on the pitch.
Where do you think he's going to play, though? So, in terms of, Man United's minutes, we've got...
listen, Joe, something...
who were most played were Sancho and Mount. So, is that not your left and right winger, though?
No, Mount will play 8. Bruno will play in front of him in 10. And then you'll have Sancho, Anthony, and Garnacho rotating around because I think Rashford will play up top. Obviously, especially with.
Anthony just rotates around anyway, so
he just goes round and round in circles, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's about right.
I think Garnacho's got a good chance of starting against Wolves, especially with the status of Wolves. So, obviously, Sancho needs games. He just needs games and minutes constant. So to try and get get back what we've paid for him. But he was playing obviously in a false 9 most of the pre-season as well. So, but I doubt he's going to start in that position. I think Rashi will go back up top, lead the line, and make it happen. So I think to answer your question, Garnacho, but I think he'll make an impact either way, whether he starts or whether he comes on a sub. I think he's got it in him to do that. So, but it's whether you risk doing that because obviously you miss out on the point for the extra point when he's over the 60-minute mark. But listen, love to see, huh?
Are you awake for the deadline, Jack? I think in Aussie time.
No, I'm not gonna be awake, mate. So I will be making.
Jack? Is that you?
No, I'll be making.
Set and forget.
I will be tinkering before I go to sleep. In not too long. I've had a couple of Peroni Reds now, so I'm ready.
Oh, we'll have Solomon in the team then by the time.
Yeah, before we know it.
That's it. Now, what we're going to do? We are going to go into Captain's Corner. Reedy, are you getting the nod now?
I have got to depart, unfortunately, boys. But do you know what? I've actually probably enjoyed this more than I've enjoyed Wednesday, just because we had the feel from it for Wednesday. It's finally deadline. We see how bad Jack's draft is. Me and Rev are just going. Me and Rev are just like, bring it on, bring the season on. I mean, I think
me and Reedy, no joke, Jillers, you brought your draft up, and we started texting each other.
I seen him on the phone.
Yeah, you didn't see me. I was a bit more subtle.
Yeah.
God.
Just to sow
it's
those
okay.
little seeds of doubt, mate.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Enjoy that.
I'll be fine.
I've got to.
I will be making changes.
We're
I will be fine. I will be winning the league again.
It's not even game week 1.
Well, yeah, it's been great.
I was excited.
It's been great to get back on. I've enjoyed it, and short one compared to Wednesday. But yeah, boys, all the best. If I don't speak, well, I say don't speak to you again, but in the WhatsApp. But if I don't see you again,
good luck, bro.
Good luck for the deadline. Don't panic. We're all captain in Haaland before I go. That's one thing I think I do know, right?
Yeah.
Captain was my last question before you go, mate, on your emotional speech that you're doing right now. But yeah, so Captain Haaland, perfect.
Haaland.
We'll see you on the other side, Reedy. Thanks for joining us, mate.
See you, bro.
Take care.
Nice one. Right, guys, we are going to go into the final segment. Now, we are missing the Aussie mullet himself, Chaza Roberts, this evening. He is at the Friday footy watching Aussie rules. But listen, we've got to keep it authentic and Australian. I think we'll go to the Captain's Corner. Now, if you are familiar with this segment from last season, Chaza is an absolute animal in his stats and backing up his stats about captain picks. So he has got some for you guys this evening. I've not seen this pre-record. It could go Pete Tong.
This is going to go wild.
I'm not too sure where it's going to go, but sit back and watch Chaza Roberts. Just enjoy the mullet. Let's go.
Hello, guys, and welcome to your first edition of the new season's very own Captain's Corner by who else but Chazman himself. We've got a few options for the opening game week, and it all starts with Turf Moor on Friday night. Company up against his old boss back in the heyday of Pep Guardiola, Erling Haaland, who scored a Premier League record of 36 league goals last season. It'll be interesting to see how they break down the clouds of Turf Moor, but should cope all right. He did it away at West Ham on the opening day last season. He scored a hat-trick in their 6-0 FA Cup final. No, not final. Just an FA Cup match last season too. He's owned by 88% of fantasy managers. So it would be extremely difficult if he's flying and you're already behind the pack should you go against the Norwegian. Second option's an interesting one. And we're going to the Egyptian who's going away at Stamford Bridge. Remember that spell he had with Chelsea in the early 2010s. But first, it's best to look on Salah's track record on the opening day. And he has scored in his last 6 opening day campaigns. 8 goals in total, which is a joint record held by Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney, and Frank Lampard. If he does it again, that's 7 seasons in a row. He's owned by 26% of fantasy managers who have signed up as of now, which is nearing 7 million. In addition, the 11 of his first 12 fixtures are rated as a 2 or 3 on the fixture difficulty ranking. Not a bad run, to say the least. Furthermore, he's got the form on his side heading into this season. In his last 4 Premier League games last season, he managed to score a goal along with 5 assists, which included his hat-trick of assists away at the King Power Stadium. So if you want an alternative, he could be okay. Suited better in other weeks? Probably. But with his record, can't go wrong with it. Marcus Rashford at home to Wolves on the Monday night. If you like to save the best for last, this man could be the specialist for your game week. Firstly, Wolves don't have a manager. They got rid of Lopetegui on Wednesday. He scored last season away at the Molineux in their 1-0 away win against Wolves. Plus, he scored in Man United's friendly win over Lens 3-1 last Saturday. He's at a soaring 49% ownership. Bukayo Saka is your final option. Definitely worth considering. Arsenal are at home to Nottingham Forest. Firstly, we're going to Nottingham Forest, who conceded the most away goals of any side last season with 44. In addition, he did get an assist in Arsenal's 5-0 home win against Nottingham last campaign, and he had the 4th most attacking returns of any player in the game with 14 goals and 12 assists. Even on days where he may not score, he's definitely capable of getting a hatful of assists. That is your Captain's Corner for this week. Best of luck with your armband choice. May your arrows be green.
Chaza, the Chazman returns. Blimey. How good was that?
To be fair, he's given us some food for thought there, hasn't he? Because, we're all just like, put the armband on the Nordic meat shield.
Yeah.
But Rashford could be a genuine option.
Great
Bukayo
contender,
Saka
man.
Could be a genuine option for most of our teams. You know, I know you've not gone with Saka. You've gone for one of the attacking midfielders who isn't starting and will come off the bench. So, you know, each to their own, Jack.
It's a squad. It's a squad.
But yeah. I wonder
Yeah,
if anyone
I
in the
think,
comments has got some captaincy ideas. Let us know.
Yeah, anyone who captaincy, obviously, Reedy's gone for Haaland. It's the Burnley thing. It's stigma around Burnley as we know it previously, right? And when they went down, obviously, in the years preceded it, it's a different Burnley. Are they? And that's why I was thinking maybe City won't flow as what they usually do. You know, we start the season as well, just starting to get going better in the second half season, and they just beat everyone, and they just chase everyone. So is it going to be slightly different, and is it worth considering a different captain? I think it is. And do you risk it for the biscuit and go somewhere else? Obviously, Saka and Rashford, great ones to consider for sure.
The thing is for me though is that if you don't go and captain Haaland, then and he bangs, you're starting the season behind everyone. So just do the Reedy thing, do the boring thing, and just go with the crowd.
Yeah, right. So all right. Well, cheers to Chaza. I'm sure he'll be back on the podcast either next week and live in the studio, and he can for more Captain's Corner. But make sure you give him a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chaza Roberts. But yeah, listen, mate. Last things to do. Captain for you. What's your locked in one?
Haaland. Yeah.
Haaland. Yeah, Haaland for me too.
His ownership and obviously his many goals just scare me.
Just ridiculous football scoring CV.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to.
I started last season with the idea of going for a one him, you know, because we were all talking about, you know, everyone was on a double premium or a triple premium. This season we can't really do that. But it kind of goes when my thinking is that the value in premiums is by captaining them, and so if you're spending the money, just get as much value out of it as possible.
Yeah, no, fair enough, mate. Good advice. If you are looking to join any more leagues, please do join the FPL Addicts Podcast League. You can join that now across the ticker at the bottom. The code is jkozym. Or if you're struggling to join, sometimes the code is a bit funny on fantasy, but you can jump into our link tree and you get a direct link straight to join that league. But that is it from the FPL Addicts podcast today. Big thanks to the FPL Rev for joining us. You can get him on Twitter and on Instagram, FPL Rev, FPL Addicts Rev, possibly on there. But you will find him. But check out anything on our Instagram and our Twitter, FPL Addicts podcast. And we'll see you next week. We'll decide when we're doing it and when we're all free to get everyone on. But good luck for this weekend. We're in for a belter of an opening week. Can't wait. And yeah, super excited. And thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.